Hello and welcome to Boat Life Live at the NEC, the National Exhibition Centre at Birmingham. Yes, Birmingham, about as far away from the sea as you can possibly hope to get in England. What finer place, therefore, to launch a brand new boat show? Ah, but I hear you say, Birmingham is the centre of the canal universe in England, is it not? And you are right. And indeed, the organisers of this show have set aside a dedicated inland waterways zone for fans of canals and rivers. And there is, of course, a load of other boating stuff as well. It's spread over, I think, 3 halls, so let's have a look round.
It was nice and quiet at the start of day one, which meant lots of breathing space to stand back and look at things, rather than feeling like a herd of elephants was trampling you all the time. Looking at canal stuff first, there was representation from holiday companies, but what I wanted was this excellent narrowboat model on their stand. Here's ABC Leisure, who featured in the video I made about hiring. I'll put a link to that in the video description. Also seen before on my channel is the lovable Wilderness Beaver Trailboat, now being manufactured anew by Clearwater Boats. Their show example was a partially fitted out shell, as they will supply either purely as a shell, as a part fitted, or fully fitted depending on what you want and how much work you want to do. It's only 24 feet long, but packs in a galley, shower and toilet, sleeping and living areas. I'll leave a link to that prior video in the description as well. If narrowboats are just a bit too narrow for you, then how about this Canal Kraken? It's 70 feet long and 12.5 feet wide, and it's yours for £192,000. Look at all that deck space. And it's got a whopping Beta Marine 60 horsepower engine to push it along.
Look at the space you get in one of these. Oh, beats my narrowboat.
Bear in mind, these are usable only on the northern and southern wide-beam canals, not in most of the Midlands. But the benefit is all this space. Like most wide-beam canal boats, it's a floating flat, apartment if you must. Fridge, freezer, all the amenities of home and the space to use them, or to have a rave. Wine cooler, obviously, and the obligatory stove. If you wander down the side corridor, there's a cupboard first, and then the second bedroom arranged here with bunks. Wander on further and you find the laundry facilities, washer and dryer. A bathroom with dual sinks and a large shower. And then the master bedroom at the bow, with more shelves, cupboards and desks than you'd possibly know what to do with. Plus access to a small well deck for sunny days. There was no shortage of chandleries selling their wares at the show. Midland chandlers are very well known to narrowboaters, a place where you can buy a stove, or a toilet, or a fridge, or a cooker. Likewise, ASAP supplies, although I don't actually know what half of these things are. And Pirates Cove, which, if nothing else, surely gains the award for Best Chandlery Name, I think. The trouble with chandleries to a boater is that it's like a sweet shop to a child. Everything looks tempting, even the stuff you don't need. and they were doing brisk business. Believe it or not, there was another one on the other side. And who of us hasn't fancied a spontaneous purchase of a rubber dinghy? Sweeties. Of course, if you really want to splash out, then a few thousand on a shiny new engine could be fun. This is what they look like new before they shed their paint and get covered in oil and grease. I'm surprised there were no magpies trying to lift this, it was so shiny. And I didn't know Barras owned so many well-known brands. With so many folk jesting about me being mooring the cut, I felt it only right to look at these floating static homes. I could genuinely be tempted in the right location, and it was another stand where I wanted to walk off with the model.
The largest one, which is this one, the water lodge, this was our exact replica.
Around mid-morning, the press assembled for the official launch of the show.
Boat Life Live is officially open. Woo!
I talked to the show's director and asked what he thinks makes this event stand out.
What we're looking at is kind of like an all year round exposure. So we will be creating content with exhibitors all year round to keep that presence online, and so the boat show becomes an event within the boat life kind of community and calendar. So it's not so much just focusing on the event, it's more about that community and building the brand, and the event becomes a place where they can meet. So that will mean exhibitors essentially get a lot more return on their investment for buying a stand space, so they'll be more incentivized to be involved and come to the show.
It was no surprise to see a smattering of electrical propulsion systems, with names like Lynch, who were early into the narrowboat scene. Arguments do rage about whether battery-powered systems are as green as we'd want, given the use of elements like lithium, but they are undeniably quieter, more pleasant to use, and chuck out zero emissions as you go along, which is good for the local environment and air quality at least. And it's not just narrowboats that can benefit, as this pole-mounted portable dinghy motor demonstrates. And there were similar dinghies and dayboats touting their electrical offerings throughout the show. The ultimate green solution is wind power, sailing of course. Not practical for the canals, but wider rivers, lakes and the sea make it possible. I'm not one for sailing myself. I don't trust all that leaning over like you're about to fall out, but I do appreciate the benefits and the looks of a pretty boat. This classic yacht was sailed solo around Britain by Katie McCabe at the age of just 14. Katie was at the show and gave a talk, as did many other guest speakers, such as this lady, Pip Hare, another solo sailor who'll be competing in the Vendée Globe Round the World race in 2024.
So I think the interesting thing for me,
the adjacent stand to Katie's boat had an eclectic mix of classic and historic boats to promote a festival of such craft at Henley-on-Thames in the summer. Isn't this wonderful? I couldn't see any information about it, but I'd quite like to try it out. Considering this was the first year of Boat Life Live and it was only across a couple of halls, there was a decent amount to see, covering most aspects of boating in one form or another. Definitely an afternoon's pleasant amble. I imagine this little tender is the kind of thing you'd see on the Thames at Henley in the summer as well. What nicer way could there be to spend a sunny day than pootling about with friends in one of these? Surprisingly reasonable value at £18,000, I reckon, though you'll need to add the engine onto that. If you need something a tad bigger, but with the same social dayboat philosophy, maybe one of these. I've no idea what it is, and the show brochure doesn't list it either, bizarrely. Boating is often said to be a very expensive hobby, but as boats go, this is about as cheap as chips, and I rather liked it. Again, that price doesn't include an engine, but what a great little dayboat. Trailable too.
It's really best on inshore waters, so lakes, rivers, and to 5 kilometres offshore. It's actually rated to 20 kilometres offshore, but this really for me is a nice day fishing boat, and you'd pick your weather doing that.
OK, let's get into lottery-winning territory now as we browse the big, really expensive posh boats. Phew, I could tear up the canal with a pair of those on the narrowboat. Once you get to the likes of Princess, this is the kind of area where my fellow YouTuber and boat enthusiast Nick Burnham of the Aquaholic channel would normally be found lurking. He was at the show, but I missed him unfortunately. If you've seen his excellent boat tours, then you know that if he was showing this fairline, he'd start with a look along the hull and talk about it planing. Then you'd get the obligatory mention of the high-low bathing platform, and he'd probably talk about a passerelle somewhere up here for stern-to berthing in the Med. Some narrowboats have these, bow thrusters, but look how tiny they are on a boat like this. It's amazing they can push the boat at all. Here's another of Nick's favourites, the Cranchy stand. Oh, he'd like that sun pad. And there'd have to be a mention of the deck barbecue. He also loves a nice wide bulwark, don't we all? I'll leave a link to Nick's channel in the video description if you've not seen it before. How's this for an unusual boat? It reminds me of a clockwork tin toy I had as a child. Away from the champagne and caviar, here's a great cause. A team of policemen rowing across the Atlantic to raise money for two excellent charities. It's a 3,000-mile trip, doing shifts of 2 hours on, 2 hours off for 50 days. Finally, a bit of fun. I've had a go on a hovercraft before. It was fantastic. Not approved for the canals though, you'd go slightly over the 4-mile-an-hour limit. Elsewhere at the show, ropes. Lots of ropes. For all your rope needs. Oh, and tea towels. I did treat myself to one of these with an octopus on it. and I bought a hat to support the lifeboats too. By late in the day, with my feet a little tired, the jacuzzis you inevitably find on display at any show were looking tempting, but the water was tepid at best. Perhaps this would be a better venue to pause and take stock, a show pub called the Rose and Crown, or the Rosie, named after this utterly adorable dog who took a shine to my microphone. Other star guests at the show included Canal TV celebrity Robbie Cumming.
David, come here, you big old...
Get on.
There was Alan from My Narrowboat Venture. And more YouTubers, Earl Wrights and two crew and a cockapoo, doing some underwater walking. En route to the pub, Robbie got distracted by virtual reality canoeing. It was a good day, with good friends. That's it for this one. Cheerio.